it's not a one individual, one party to blame. It's all three parts, you know.
What?
Well, I'm
Oh
just
my
saying.
goodness, y'all should hear him. Like, this is new stuff to me right now. Okay.
Yeah, so Hima, I wanted to see your take on, what we've said in the video that we watched.
I mean, there were some interesting perspectives. I mean, my thing is the question of like lazy. I think that a lot of like young spoiled girls have that image in their mind. Like, I'm gonna get with like a guy that's already rich, and I'm not gonna have to do anything. And it's almost the perspective that people have on stay-at-home moms, right? They just, or even women who want to be stay-at-home moms. Some women are like, I want to be a stay-at-home mom because I don't gotta do nothing. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know if you know what, a stay-at-home mom is, or I don't know if you know what a lot of these men want who are making, like Lance was saying, X amount of dollars. And it's like, they want certain things and they're going to expect you to do certain things. And if you're not, because they are such a small percentage of men, they could just be like, all right, I don't want you. I always say there's like an envy right now and amongst women when it comes to like women who have like men who do make more. It's like it's a lot of envy in that, and they'll try to discourage it, and they'll either say a stay-at-home mom is oppressed, or they'll try to make sure like she's a slave, or if they don't do that, they'll try to make it seem like she's dumb. Like, oh, she must be uneducated or something. She must not be intelligent. That's why, right? So when secretly, and I went through this at my old job, secretly, those same women who will talk trash about a woman's being a stay-at-home mom will then say later, dang, I wish I could do that. Shoot, I don't want to,
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of envy,
Yeah.
Yeah. I think people kind of just have to decide what they want to do. I guess maybe some people are kind of forced into being the independent woman, but I guess, I don't know. Do y'all feel like people are forced into being the independent woman?
I was gonna say something just for you hot, but it is kind of it's just kind of, I guess, based off of how you were raised, maybe. So I didn't get to mention this before, but I do have a background in mental health therapy. I practiced for a little while. And so my theory that I fell on was experiential therapy, which is really focusing on like how your development through childhood leading up into adulthood kind of match in some shape or form based off of traumas and things like that. And I think about, that piece that you said that is it something that like we're kind of told, like women are we shown how to be independent, or do we fall like into that naturally? And I think like that's kind of where I grew up. So just going, my personal experience was I'm a daddy's girl through and through, hands down, like no question about it. And so my dad raised me, and I had my grandfather in my life too, but raised me to never take money from a man. I remember that like clear as day. And then my mom really leaning on the idea that you can fend for yourself and be independent because you don't want to have to rely on anybody. And she grew up where, her mom passed away at the age of 45. So my mom was only 13. So she had to grow up very early on, very similar to Lance's experience too, which I'm sure you'll probably talk a little bit about, but she had to grow up faster. So that independence was already built into her, that it led into her adulthood, and that's all she knew. And I remember having to really, when I was going through my master's program, having to really take a step back and apologize for me having this resentment towards her because of that lack of emotion and, not really being involved in stuff as I'd would want her to be as growing up. So it's just like, it's kind of like, do you fall into that because of your own personal experiences based off of generations beforehand? And then what has been taught to them is just led into what you see now. And now how are you going to raise your children? Because a lot of these things are built into our subconscious. And so it's up to us to have to reprogram ourselves. But I kind of agree with what you said. I think it kind of falls into some women's laps where it's just natural for them to have that sense of independency.
I mean, yeah. And even though we're saying it's the women, a lot of the blame is just on the men is the women. I mean, men are not taking care of responsibilities. They're not doing what they're supposed to do. So it's not all just on the women's side, this responsibility of the man. You know, are they making enough money so that their woman is taken care of? If she wants to be the caregiver, the nurturer, to actually play that role, you know, but if she has to work, then you know you're doing multiple jobs to where it's kind
Somewhere
of
it's gonna lack.
why I think women have a higher chance of getting Alzheimer's or dementia because of the multitasking. And also too, now this is political too. Why? Because in the 1968, when LBJ passed the was it the Great Society Act, or I think it was that act where welfare came in and then women had to choose between
look at him like, oh, wait a minute.
Man, that's it right there.
You know, either the man, you know, you can make it $10 an hour. I'm just using math. You know, $10 an hour, or you can have an extra $5 based off the government. You know, when you have food, Section 8 housing, because I had multiple generations of people who were married. Their husband either died or they divorced and they never got remarried. So, I mean, if, you know, you have a woman who has, you know, either herself or a child or two, and like, okay, do I want, you know, such and such to take care of me and I'm only bringing this much? Or do I want to, you know, depend on Uncle Sam and I'm going to get these stamps, you know, the 1st and the 15th. And then you got to worry about, you know, a person in a suit or a social worker coming in your house checking if there's somebody in the house, because that was kind of my experience. So that's what we had. So it's not a one individual, one party to blame. It's all three parts.
What?
Well,
oh my goodness, y'all should hear him. Like, this is new stuff to me right now. Okay, that blame game be serious, boy. Let me tell you.
I mean, same thing with Eve. I mean, you know, the devil learns how to use the woman. Why? Because emotions. I was talking to a gentleman today about narcissistic. Some I'm not gonna say all, but some women are very narcissistic. They can use their body, they can use the goody goodies, you know, to actually get into certain doors and stuff. I mean, that's just I'm just saying it in a nice way, but it's literally true. I mean, it's not all, it's some. So
and it's funny because that you bring up Genesis, because we're reading we like to read different scripture texts. Right now I'm going back. Zacchaeus has read the Quran before. I'm going back to read a lot of different scriptures that I was reading in college. I don't think I was mature enough to really think about a lot of those in a certain way. I was mature enough to go, oh, this is what I think about it, but not mature enough to really go deep into some of the things that it's saying. And it's funny when you read Genesis, which is actually my favorite book in the world, right? I really enjoy Genesis mainly for the first few stories. But if you also look at other spiritual scriptures and you look into other religions and also different myths around the world, I bring them up to say that the woman often embodies a certain person. And the person that she embodies, no matter where you go on the globe, is someone of great potential. And also, and that potential is of creation, but also of mass destruction. And I think when you look into the story of Adam and Eve, there's a lot you can take from it. I mean, you read it and you're going to learn something from it every time. But one of those things is, I used to think that they were demonizing women. So the first time I read Genesis, I was very angry at it. And I was like, Dad, they just demonizing women. Like, they act like woman is the partner of the devil. That's what I took from it, right?
Right.
Mhm.
And upon rereading it, actually, there was a lot to that. There was the blame game being played, going back
Yeah.
to what Lance was saying about men. It actually normally falls on the man first, because
Yeah.
if Eve was talking to the snake and Adam is her man, where was Adam is the first question. But then
Yeah.
when God comes, if you notice, Adam not only blames Eve, but if you read it correctly, he kind of blames God.
Mhm.
Now, just go back and read it. He says, the woman that you gave me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
The woman
yeah,
you gave me told me to eat, so I ate.
yeah.
Like, right?
Right.
And so it's this thing when the man, right, and it tells you a lot about the man because Adam is supposed to represent mankind. And so
Yeah.
it tells you when the man does not take the correct responsibilities, right, what happens.
Mhm.
Because not only does Eve manifest right into this force of chaos that gets them kind of pushed out of the garden, but also her seed is now changed. Because everybody forgets that part where God said, I will split thy seed, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden they have twins.
Mm.
Got Cain and Abel.
Mm.
And Cain is just right. So it's a trickle down effect when a man doesn't take the position he's supposed to take in the household. It trickles all the way down to the children. And then you have the children who are fighting each other because of what happened in their parents' past. And that goes back to the sins of the father. But I also
Yeah.
say it's also the sins of the mother, right?
Yeah.
And it will go on and on and on for many, many, many generations. And
Yep.
so though I'm not one, I'm just going to give y'all tell y'all now, I'm not one to take scripture literally. I like
Yeah.
to read it and I like to get deep, profound messages from it. And that
Mhm.
generational curse thing, that's another thing. I'm like, mankind is cursed from Adam and Eve, but I didn't understand what it was really saying, which was no matter how long ago it goes back, if you don't correct these failures, that's what all sin means, these failures, it's going to keep coming up generation and
Yep.
generation and generation forever. And
Yep.
so
Right.
it's deep that, Lance was telling me about just now about his father, and now you see him corrected, right? And that's the difference maker. I feel like Black people need to really start understanding, just people in general in America need to start understanding, like, it's up to you
Yeah.
to correct these. Nobody's going to
Yeah.
correct these mistakes for you.